Okay, here we are again. This is now tarot lesson number 70. Can't believe it. If you have something you want me to cover, or something you're stuck with, or something you're not sure about, send me an email. The email will be in the description below the video. So it's not that I don't know what to talk about, but I want to, it's the audience that's important. So you're the audience. So what do you want? What can I talk about? What do you think I ought to do? So that's point number one. Point number two is I wanted to talk a little bit to get you to think about, or to be more clear about the question that's being asked. Because I've mentioned before, rule number one is assume nothing. And that idea kind of hides itself away in all sorts of different ways. But somebody may want to know, can I do this? Can I do such and such? Right? So the question is, can I? Right? There you can see, can I? What is it? What does the person actually mean? Does it mean, are they physically able to do something? In which case you pick a card and you get an idea of whether it's going to happen easily. So with the Queen of Wands, can I do this? Yes, because maybe you'll get help from this person, or that's what you're like. You are willing to sit and judge and take the necessary action to get whatever it is that you want. Whereas, can I do this? And you get the Queen upside down. Maybe you can, but it's going to be more difficult because this person, either you are operating against yourself if you're the Queen, or else this person who maybe thinks they're in charge, but they're not really, because the Queen upside down, or it's a person who used to be in charge but they're not anymore, and maybe they want to get back to a situation of being in control. So they're going to boss you around, and they're in some way going to stop you going in the direction that you want to go. So can I is, think about, if somebody asks the question, can I? Think about what they mean, or what kind of answer you want to get from a question like, can I do this? Because the question might be, it's not so much, because a lot of things you can do whatever you want, but the question may be, should I? And so, should I do this? And that's a different kind of question, because maybe there's morality involved in the answer. And it reminds me a bit of Jurassic Park, if you remember Jurassic Park. Ian Malcolm talked about how just because you can recreate dinosaurs doesn't mean you should. So somebody may want to know, can I do this? But maybe the more important question is, should they actually go in that direction? And it may be that you point that out to the questioner and get them to think differently or think better about the question. Or maybe that you, the reader, know they really want to know whether they should or not, and that's going to help you give an answer. So should I do this? And you get the 8 of batons, yes, and things will go well, and because it's 8 batons flying through the air, things are still maybe up in the air a bit, but as a little bit of time passes, they're going to land, and it's going to be okay. It's going to work out well. Whereas if it's upside down, not going to be so good, because either the arrows will get stuck in the air, or things are going to get stuck, or maybe because the batons are in the air and not touching the ground. The ground can represent reality or practicality, but they're upside down. The batons are still in the air, so there's something a bit unrealistic about what it is that you're planning, or what it is that you're intending. The other thing is, David Hume, this Scottish philosopher from, 200, 300 years ago, he said you can't deduce an ought from a can, I think. Something like that. He said, because his point was, just because you can, it doesn't make you can't deduce that you ought to from the fact that you're able to do something. The other thing is, a related kind of question is, so can I do such and such? Yes or no. Should I do it? But what about what if? So I've got this idea, what if I go ahead with it? Is it going to work out well? Because can I do this? Yes, you can, but it's going to end badly. So do you really want to do it? And that's the kind of thing that you will come up with or discover if you take some time to think about the question. So maybe the question is, what if I do this particular plan and you get, well, another Queen of Cups reversed. Somebody's going to hate it. And depending who the Queen of Cups is, either you will realize that you bit off more than you can chew, or that there are other people going to be involved in other situations involved in the answer that you hadn't suspected. Or maybe you think that your own strength of will or your own deviousness, because it's Queen of Cups, your own deviousness is going to enable you to manipulate people and get your own way or convince them to do whatever it is that you want them to do, but it's not going to work. So what if you do it and you get the Queen of Cups upright? Then it'll work because you'll end up in charge, or you'll end up pleasing the person who is in charge, and so on, because it's a queen and it's upright. So that was point one. And the second point is, if you remember a few videos ago, I talked about how astrology is the philosophy of the gods, and Stefan picked a card. He wanted to know, okay, what are the gods? And he got the 6 of coins. And I spoke about this in a previous video. And the 6, you've got 1, 2, 3 people. You've got 1, 2, 3 people. So you get a similar kind of design of the card. And so maybe we have to look to see the gods in some way are angelic creatures or divine beings who dispense information or goodness to people who are in need, right? So that's, but so the thing is, somebody called Neophyte also asked that same question, and he got the 6 of Cups. And I wanted to speak a little bit about this because it's a bit like Stefan's answer on, and maybe for him, that think of this 6 of Pentacles as step 1 in his understanding of the idea of what are the gods. And that's the thing you're supposed to think about first. Or maybe that's the thing he's meant to think about. Maybe he's already thought about what the gods are. And maybe this 6 of Pentacles is what he's meant to think about next, so that he will develop greater understanding of what the gods are, and he'll be motivated to look in a particular direction rather than another direction. And maybe what he does is, okay, what he's done that, what does he do next? And next is Temperance reverse. So that's what he also has to consider when it comes to what are the gods, right? That kind of idea. Whereas Neophyte got the 6 of Cups. So for Stefan, his answer, or the next bit of his answer, is about values, because it's coins. It's not so much about money, but it's more about what do people care about, what's important, what's valuable, what's worth going for, what's worth promoting, what's worth preserving, what's worth anything. So Stefan is meant to think about what is worth something, or what's worthwhile when it comes to the gods. Whereas with Neophyte, he gets the 6 of Cups. So his next step, or his first step in understanding what the gods are, involves relationships. Here we've got the people in need, and they're looking to the higher force. But here with Neophyte, we've got the boy and the girl opposite each other. So here with Neophyte, when it comes to what are the gods, he's talking about, or he's thinking about, or it's important to understand, you're looking for an emotional connection with divine power, or with the gods. And it's a relationship because you've got two people here. And it's also cups, and that's why it's an emotional connection. So maybe maybe with Stefan, the gods are kind of matter of fact, and he's got a scale. The person's got a scale in his hand, so you do what you do. The gods weigh up the strengths and weaknesses of your position, and then if you've done well, you get a reward. If you've done badly, you get punishment. And maybe that's what Stefan has to think about. Whereas with neophyte, it's not so much about values. It's about establishing an emotional connection with and feeling comfortable maybe with the idea of the gods. And I was looking at the card of, well, I've seen this card before, but we've got this guard walking off. So maybe for neophyte, what's important is the fact that in the past, maybe he thought of the gods as being a protective force, because you've got this guard these are young children, so maybe we've got the idea of the guard, the protector of the innocent individual or the young life. But now the guard is walking away. So it's a bit like neophyte when he's thinking about what the gods are. It's as if it's not so much that he's on his own, but he's no longer interested in or will no longer benefit from having protection or being the idea of being protected from harm. Because a lot of people think that with the gods and with divine beings, that if you get into trouble, the cosmos is going to come along and bail you out, or the cosmos is going to come along and make everything better. You know, I'm sure we all understand that when you're low or struggling or suffering, you think, okay, give me a break, you know, help me out here. I need something. And so this can be what neophyte, that kind of thinking is what neophyte's involved with, because we've got cups here and we've got the children and we've got the guard going on. Also, if you look carefully or closely, we can see that the roof here is in a state of disrepair. And it can be an indication that neophyte's idea of the gods has to be updated, because he's maybe living with or thinking along old lines that are, if it's a roof, this is a leaky roof, right? It's not functioning correctly anymore. So it can be that for neophyte, he's had ideas about what the gods are. I mean, I think he's been involved with the occult in some kind of a way for a number of years. But with the roof being in disrepair back here, it can be that all his old ideas about the gods and life and the purpose of life, that was okay back then, but now is now. And now those ideas, either they have to be updated or fixed or repaired, because they're not as good or not working as well as they used to, maybe when he was younger. So maybe it's a bit like, I don't know what, when you're 10 and 11 and 5 and so on and 12, people and teachers and parents and religious people tell you stuff, and you don't know any better most of the time, so you accept it, and without thinking about it. So maybe for the neophyte, now is the time to re-examine his old beliefs, or the beliefs he was taught, or the beliefs he was given when he was little, and if they're sensible or they work, keep them. If they're not sensible or no longer sensible or good, get rid of them, clean them out, and build a new roof for yourself. Okay, that was it for today. So I'm interested to know if you have things you want to know about. Today is Saturday, is it? Back to fingers. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll be back at the end of near the end of the week. Thursday. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day. Okay, bye-bye.